hands together for Cliff Robles.
Thank you. Like you already heard, I'm a daycare worker, so just kill me now, please. No, I'm just kidding. No, I like working with kids to a certain extent. Actually, one of the best things I love about working in a daycare, you take them out on field trips. And we rely on public transit, to get us, from A to B. And we were getting on this one transit bus, getting ready to go to the Manitoba Museum. And all of a sudden I look at one seat, and there's my aunt. Now, she's a sweet woman, 70-year-old Filipino woman, but she has a lot of misconceptions about daycare. Because she thinks if you work in a daycare, you stay there for the rest of your shift. Basically, you feed the child, change the diaper, give them a nap, and when they wake up, put them in front of a TV and turn it on the treehouse for the rest of the day. Okay, it doesn't work that way. Okay, I get on the bus, and then I'm like, okay, kids, get to the back, get to the back. I go up to my aunt. Oh, hi, Aunt. First thing she says to me, "Boy, what the fuck are you doing here?" You are not supposed to be. You are supposed to be in that building working. I'm like, I'm taking these kids out on a field trip. No, you're not. You're supposed to be in there. And then she starts giving these idle threats. Like she's going to say she's going to do something, but she won't. She's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to your director and tell her that you are kidnapping the children again. Okay, first off, it's a field trip, and don't say again making me a repeat offender, okay? It doesn't work. All of a sudden, one of the kids are getting restless. It's like, Cliff, are you going to sit with us? I'm like, yeah, in a minute. Are you talking to a stranger? I'm like, no, it's worse. It's family. Don't worry about it. I get off the bus, and I expect my aunt to wave by. She's on the bus like this. Yeah, the children are just like, Cliff, you have a crazy family. I'm like, yes, just let's go, please. One of the drawbacks of working in daycare that I get sick because I catch whatever the kids are having, and this time of year I catch it. I ended up going to a walk-in clinic. And it was kind of a weird experience because I had this one doctor, and it was a Spanish doctor. And he had one of those, those suave Mexican accents. Like he's looking at me like, so Cliff, what can I do for you? And like the first thing that came to my mind, I kept on thinking about that old El Paso taco shell commercial. And the first thing that came to my mind was like, Chicken Thursday. So like eventually he gives me my prescription and a doctor's note, and I was about to leave, and he's like, oh, wait a minute, let me see here. Cliff, it says here that your last name is Robles. I said, yes, it is. You know Robles is a Spanish name. Do you know what the Robles means? I said, no, I don't. He's like, sit down, let me explain to you. So he's like, you see, the Robles is an oak tree. Now this particular tree is very strong, very big, very hard, with nice wood. Now the next thing he said was kind of creepy, and I know he's trying to be nice and all, but I know English is not his first language, but I know he's trying to be nice, but it just sounded wrong. And he's like, Cliff, you, my friend, are like that tree, because you have a big hard wood. Like through my mind, like, is he talking about my cock or something? What? I was like, what did you say? You have a big hard wood. Okay, let me just take my doctor's note and prescription and get the fuck out, okay? Thank you. I get to the car, all I could think of in my head was like, big hard wood, big hard wood. I'm just like, okay, think of something else. Chicken Thursday. When not working or doing stand-up, I like to travel. Unlike a lot of Winnipeggers, you do that little road trip down to Grand Forks and Fargo, get by all the shit that you can't get back here. It was fun. Like my wife would do that like once or twice a year. Wasn't fun when I was a preteen or an early teenager. Because we went during the worst possible times. We went in late August, when it's the back-to-school sales, and we get dragged into every single store. Like, it's cool, you get all the cool shit and everything, but the problem is, the whole thing you have to endure. You go through like all the JCPenney's, the Kmart's, the Walmart's, and all that stuff. And back then, now, when you were there for 48 hours, out of the country for 48 hours, you could only spend $100 Canadian per person. Per person. Right now, it's $400 per person. My parents, this was about 20 some odd years ago, they spent $800 US over a weekend. And my dad's pacing. He's like, oh, what the fuck to do? What the fuck to do? Okay. Then he starts thinking about it. Then he points at me. And I'm like, oh crap, this isn't going to be good. He takes all of my clothes, rips off every price tag, and made me wear it so we don't claim it at the border. So basically, I'm sitting in the back seat like this with 7 shirts, 4 pairs of pants, and I'm basically going like this in the back seat of the car. Make matters worse, it's 37 degrees, and there's no air conditioning, and the windows are tight. So I'm like I'm like a butterball turkey just roasting in the back. So I'm like, Dad, just roll down the window, please. But of course, my dad's driving at 90 miles per hour, so you don't get a cooling breeze, you get a pushing breeze. So I'm basically going like this. And for the people that just entered, no, I am not trying to fuck the Invisible Man doggy style, okay? And then the moment of truth comes. You hit the border. And my dad was always cool, he's always relaxed, and he'd look at me, he's like, don't worry, son, I'll do all the talking. When he gets to the border, something about the border changes his voice. Because he gets really intimidated. He goes from a Filipino to a Filipino Kermit the Frog. Border guard looks at him. Okay, sir, total amount of purchases over the last 48 hours? $20 per dollar, saying 45 cents. Okay, you can go. I was like, I can't believe he bought that shit. And we actually passed the border. But then, like about 2 seconds after, I'm like, Dad, I really need to go to the bathroom. So he pulls into the parking lot and opens the door. Need I remind you, I'm still wearing all the clothes. So I'm basically getting out of the car. I'm waddling to the washroom like this. So then the border guard's looking, and he goes up to my mom. Oh, excuse me, ma'am, is your son going to be okay? My mom, she's like, oh, you know what? He's a nice boy. He just has rickets. I quickly turn around like, Mom, I don't have... Hey, don't fuck around with me. You go pee, okay? Yes, Mom. Okay, I went, hey, that's all I got for tonight. You guys have been a great audience. Thank you.